Hi, I'm Nick and I like comics.
And I'm Adam and I know comics.
Welcome to another episode of Adam and Nick Spoil Some Comics, where we spoil some comics. Today, we are talking about Batman and Robin Eternal number 6 and Uncanny Avengers number 2.
We are not talking about Uncanny Avengers number 2 because it's so bad, I'm not having anything to do with it.
We said we were going to spoil it. We gotta talk about it.
You are more than welcome to. I will sit here and nod.
Mr. Grumpy Pants.
Maybe. They'll be grumpy pants too if they've read the book.
Anyway, we are first going to talk about Batman and Robin. So if you're interested in the, horrible, that Adam thought, Uncanny Avengers number 2, there'll be a link in the description where you can just go ahead and jump to that part.
Good news! James Tynion IV wrote the script for this one, and Tony Daniel did the pencils. It is a vast improvement over the last several issues. So basically we're back to the creator team of the first issue.
So Batman and Robin Eternal number 6 starts off with Bruce Wayne in this classroom teaching some kids. They are at the Lucius Fox Center for Gotham.
Very sweet beard.
Yeah, Bruce looks great with a beard.
He does.
He should all. And you would think that whenever he puts on the cowl that the beard would help him more, keep him more hidden.
Yeah, it would be really cool. Bat beard, yeah, definitely.
So Bruce is talking, and we see this guy looking in the window, and we're not exactly sure who it is. We think that it's Tim.
He notices that the weight has kind of been lifted off of Bruce's shoulders, and he's standing in a different way, and his face looks a little different, just knowing, or not knowing, all the burdens of having to fight crime.
So we jump to the St. Elijah's Church, where Jason and Dick are having this conversation, and the reason that they are there is because Harper Row told them to go there because that's where Cassandra took them in the last issue.
The orphan attacked and got disarmed and all that mess.
Literally disarmed. As they are there, they go to this statue and they open it up, and inside they see a bunch of weapons, a training facility.
They basically found the Ninja Turtles' lair. I mean, I would not be surprised if we saw a giant rat with a robe in the corner.
Right, if you zoom in on this panel really big, you can kind of see his eyes. No, you can't, just kidding. Dick says it all started here, talking about, the orphan and the training and all of this stuff. It all started here, and he says, but where did it go next? So then we cut to several years ago with Batman, Bruce, and Robin, Dick, chasing down this airplane. And they're driving really fast on what looks like a runway. Robin keeps saying, hey, I can get it. And Batman's like, no way, just let it go. And Robin says, no way, I can do this. So he does this crazy jump.
Yeah, he's like total circus freak here. Flying through the air, grapple hook, then midair, reloading the grapple hook, and shoots it again, and is upside down. It's kind of Spider-Man-esque in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's really cool. He gets onto the plane, and he puts this little Robin logo decoder thing, right? Yeah. And it unlocks the door. And when he unlocks the door, he finds
a bomb. A lot of dynamite.
And there's this sign on these scarecrow dummies that says, Bon Voyage, Batman! And then it blows up. Robin falls through the air. Batman ends up catching him on the Batwing. And then they go back to the Batcave where Robin has a bunch of teenage angst.
Yeah. Lots of teenage angst. I don't want to go to the party. I'm going to punch this doll. I'm so mad I'm not good enough.
Right. Batman says, quit punishing yourself. Dick says, man, this is all my fault. I'm so sorry. And Batman says, hey, don't worry about it. You're okay. Why don't you get your mind off of it? Let's go to this party. And I hear that Commissioner Gordon is going to bring his daughter. Hubba hubba.
Yeah, but he's like, no, you go have fun. I'm just going to stay here and punch my pillow and cry myself to sleep.
So then we cut to this police fundraiser that I guess Bruce is throwing because it's at his house. And he's standing outside kind of looking around, smelling the roses, doing whatever things he does. And this red-headed guy named Maxwell comes up and starts talking to him. And they talk a lot about life and legacy.
All the problems of being rich.
Basically, stuff that we can't associate with, right?
Rich jerks.
Right. And Maxwell brings up the point, hey, didn't you bring in that boy, that had the circus accident and all that? And somehow the conversation goes and continues. And Maxwell brings up this thing that he has this new wife, and she was basically made for him.
As creepy as it sounds, we promise.
Right, she was brainwashed and manipulated. She was European. And we see this panel of the orphan, Maxwell's wife laying on a bed, a black lady and an old lady. Maxwell says that she has been shaped to exactly how I want her. Bruce says, shaped by who? And then he says, I don't know her name, but she's been referred to as the mother. A shadowy figure shows up in the door.
Yeah, then the redheaded dude, Maxwell, just gets really creeped out. It's like, oh no, I was just kidding, guys. I'm gonna go back to the party. It's no big deal. See you later, Bruce.
Right, and he says, I was just joking, Bruce. Everything, it was just a joke. I met my wife at a pottery class in Prague.
Prague. Remember Prague? We talked about, we were like, what is in Prague? What's in Prague?
Right.
We have an idea.
Right. So he's like, I was just pulling your leg. So then this shadowy figured guy and Bruce give each other a look.
There's the Batman look again.
Right. And he goes, now we cut to the Batcave. Bruce goes downstairs and he's like, computer, run everything that you've heard about the human trafficker known as Mother.
I just want to stop here and mention how it's funny that every single time a guy wears their suit, their superhero suit underneath a white Oxford, nobody notices the symbol through it. Because, I mean, every time I wear a white shirt, I got to wear, like, an undershirt. Otherwise, you can see the goods. But the bat symbol and the Superman symbol, whatever, it always should... I don't know. Secret identities.
But then he says, okay, look at the Dossie Towers penthouse, which is where Maxwell lives. So go in there, show me what's going on. It cuts there to the cameras, and then the orphan pops up and throws a knife at Bruce's camera. Bruce puts on his cowl and says, no! Hops in the Batmobile and drives off. Then we have this really pretty big panel, 2-page spread of Bruce trying to get to the towers to stop what is about to happen. And Adam, why don't you talk about kind of this little dialogue that's going on here?
Well, there's a lot of great parallels being drawn here. First, they're talking about Maxwell's wife and the kind of the history of her character and how this accident she had as a kid and her parents were killed and then being molded into this other person, and how that kind of reflects and makes Batman remember his own experience as a kid with his parents being killed, and how it seems like this mother's basically recreating his experience in Crime Alley for other families. And then he starts to think, well, how different am I from the mother? I took a kid whose parents were killed, and I sort of molded him into the things that I need. And can I tell Dick this? And what will he think of me if we compare it this way? And he starts to feel kind of bad about it. As he's still thinking on it, he arrives at the scene of the crime, a bloody crime of the two. Maxwell and his new wife are both dead. You can see Batman's reflection in the blood as he's staring down on them. Then
it cuts to Batman back at the mansion. He's in the Batcave and he calls Robin. He says, "Hey, you need to come down here. Come to the Batcave right away." And Batman says, "Hey, you need to get dressed. We're going to Prague right now."
Dick is just excited that they get to go on the road. He's like, "Oh, what does he say? Oh, Batman and Robin go global, huh? Heck yes."
Dick tells Bruce, "I'm so sorry for what I've done." Bruce says, "You didn't fall short. Now get ready. We have work that we need to do." Okay, then we cut back to the now, and we see Dick and Jason walking around. They're having this conversation, and Dick says, after finding all this stuff at St. Elijah's, he's like, "We have to go back to Prague. Something is going on there. We have to go back there." And Jason says, "Well, what about Cassandra and Harper?" Dick says, "They're staying in this apartment that has basically stayed vacant since I moved and joined Spiral, so that's where they are."
Jason kind of points out that it's a very Bruce Wayne-ish thing for him to do, to have a secret apartment nobody else knows about.
Right. So then we see Harper and Cassandra, who are standing outside, and there's these bright lights, and it comes up to be Dick, and he says, "Get ready, we have work to do," assuming that they're now going to take off to go to Prague, and the issue ends with a little box of two people talking. He's like, "Mother, we think they're en route. What do you want us to do?" And she says, "No, they're not getting too close. They are precisely where I want them to be." And that's how the issue ends.
So there at the end, we finally see the mother, and there's a few things of importance I'd like to note in this issue. Some parallels that are drawn with Dick. Bruce Wayne, the true Batman, has been out of action for a little bit. Although Commissioner Gordon's taking over as a Batman, I think it's interesting to note that Dick is kind of growing to become very similar to Bruce, something he always thought he'd never be. And now they keep mentioning how, in the last issue, he ticks Tim off with how he kind of acts like Bruce and gets very invasive in his personal life. And then in this issue, he's got the secret apartment, and he starts saying things that Bruce would say to him when he worked together. So they're just trying to grow him to be Bruce Wayne. To fill that void.
Right, and then there's that parallel, Bruce was raising Robin and kind of, I don't know if manipulating him is the right word, but, training him to be who he was supposed to be. And molding him who he wanted to be. And I think what we said last issue, where Batman lacked compassion, it seemed that Dick always had compassion.
Right.
And so it kind of seems that compassion stuff is going out the window, and the more logical, this is how things need to be done, is stepping forward and coming in.
Mm-hmm.
overall, I really like this issue. Probably the best one of the series so far.
Easily.
So this definitely, I will give it a 5 out of 5 Batman symbols. Absolutely loved it. I'm really excited to see in Prague what's going to happen with the mother. I'm excited that we actually get to see her. And yeah, it's fantastic. Pick it up and read it. Really, really good.
Yeah, I give this one a 4 out of 5 Robin symbols. U5 would be a perfect issue. This one's really close. I mean, it's got great writing and a great art back on there, which is perfect with Tony Daniel doing all of the pencils for it. But the story it's very compelling. It's asking questions. It's answered just enough now to keep us going. And I like the direction they're taking with Dick being more assertive and kind of becoming a Bruce Wayne figure or Batman figure in this. So I'm really excited to see where it goes.
So overall, we give this a 9 out of 10. So super good issue. Super good issue. Now we turn our attention to Uncanny Avengers #2. Adam, would you say who the writer and the artist are?
No.
Like, you're really not going to do this?
No.
Okay, well, Jerry Dugan is the writer, and we have Ryan Stegman as the artist. The issue opens up at the new Avengers Tower, which is like this old theater, and there's this conversation between old Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, and Tony's like, hey, I have my suit already. You want me to come out there and save you? And Steve Rogers says, absolutely not. If I send you in there, then it's going to delegitimize. That's not the right word. It's going to make my team seem like they're not real. If you go in there, they need to do this on them.
They suck.
You need to go this on their own. So we cut back to Boston where they're all running around and they're shooting stuff. They're having fighting. They can't get along. Rogue keeps on talking to Synapse. And remember, Rogue is a mutant and Synapse is an Inhuman. Mutants and Inhumans are not getting along right now. And Rogue's like, hey, can you talk to these animals? Get them to quit, because Synapse can talk to their brainwaves or something. And she's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. They don't have enough brain matter for me to talk to them. And Rogue's basically like, you're useless. You're worthless. Like, it's almost like Rogue.
Issue.
It's almost like Rogue doesn't believe that Synapse is telling the truth. And up comes this woman with this baby that looks like a vegetable, kind of screaming, and she's like, wah! And she's like, hey, I need to get help to a hospital. And Synapse then does this really cool thing where she talks to her mind and they connect, and she ends up taking away all this vegetation stuff. And Rogue, you would think that Rogue might say, hey, good job, but basically Rogue's response to Synapse is,
this sucks. This just sucks.
Right. So she heals her, they run off, and we find Brother Voodoo, who's trying to help somebody, and he's talking to Johnny Storm about how he needs to just let it go. These people are dead. And then we have a flashback to Johnny, who is having a conversation with Reed Richards, and Reed's like, hey, you need to learn this science-y stuff. And Johnny's like, whatever, that's what I have you for. We know from the main story that Reed and Susan are gone. Like, we don't even know where they are. They're absolutely gone. And so then we cuts back to Johnny thinking, man, what would Reed do, basically? So he picks up the person and he flies away. Whenever he flies away, Rogue freaks out. And she's like, hey, come back here. We all need to stay together. Stay together. So kind of whiny baby-ish. Because why?
She sucks.
She sucks. Okay. Johnny then goes and he lands at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, and he says, nerds assemble!
Still sucks.
Okay. So then he talks to them about how, hey, you guys, this guy might be gone, but you guys need to devise something that will help save this person. That's what you need to do. We then cut back to all the fighting, and Rogue is like, hey, Steve Rogers put me in charge. Why isn't anyone listening to me? Is it because I'm a woman? And Deadpool has the best line of the comic, and he says, let's not jump to any conclusions. Maybe it's because you're a mutant. Next, we cut to the mayor, who is downtown giving a speech, saying, basically, hey, we're trying to work this. We're trying to get this all figured out. And then Captain Vegetable is the name that I'm going to give him. That's probably on par with this issue, would you say? Captain Vegetable?
It sucks.
Yeah. Okay. He is there, and he's like saying, basically, we have a guy that says, you guys have destroyed the Earth with your pollution and all of that stuff. So now I'm just going to wipe out all humans and let vegetation take over. I mean, is that fair? I mean, that seems basically the plot, which pretty much
sucks.
Yeah. And then Quicksilver out of nowhere comes and he starts punching Mr. Captain Vegetable. They get in this fight, and Quicksilver is like cut with a vine or something like that. And as this fight continues to happen, which again doesn't make sense to me because Quicksilver has superhuman speed. And how does he allow something like that to happen to him? I just don't get it.
The writing sucks.
Okay. And then Captain Vegetable, by the way, his name isn't Captain Vegetable, that's just what I'm dubbing him. He's probably going to have some worse name. And he ends up throwing him into this cocoon kind of thing, trapping him in there. And Quicksilver's like, oh, my friends are going to come. And Captain Vegetable says, you're already dead. And then it closes up.
That sucks so bad.
Right. Then see some blue writing going on and some blue writing talking, and it's in a rundown area, lots of vines everywhere, and this futuristic guy is talking, walking around, lots of stuff going on, basically saying 50 years in the future, and this is how stuff is, and it turns out to be Cable. And so Cable is now in this area 50 years in the future, and he basically says, well, I need to go back to 2016 to fix what the Avengers got wrong to save the day. So from this, it seems that Captain Vegetable does his thing and takes over the world or whatever he may be. Anyway, you ready to talk about this issue?
No.
Oh, okay. Overall, it really... it was okay. I mean, I didn't like it. I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5 Deadpool symbols. It just...
It sucked.
Adam, I don't know. I guess if I can find any enjoyment in me reading it, and there were a couple of lines, the Deadpool line about maybe it's because you're a mutant, or whenever Johnny Storm said, nerds assemble, I found enjoyment out of that. So, and I really like Cable, so I'm kind of looking forward a little bit to that, but overall, not very good, I guess.
I have to give it anything, because I can't give it Spider-Man symbols. Let's take Spider-Man out. So I gotta give it negative. I'll do -2 Deadpool symbols. Take away your 2.
So overall, that would mean that this issue is a 0 out of 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it sucks.
It's not very good. If you enjoy these review episodes, please give us a big thumbs up right below here and let us know what you think. Comment with any questions or comments. Did you think that Uncanny Avengers #2 was the worst thing you've ever read? Because it seems that Adam thought so.
Actually, not the worst thing I've ever read, believe it or not, but it sucked.
Okay. But on the plus side, Batman and Robin Eternal was excellent.
It was amazing.
Make sure you connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We like to talk about stuff. And go buy a comic book today, because it's New Comic Book Day.
Find something new. Find something different. Find something old. They've got plenty of old, I'm sure.
All right, we're done. See ya.